Look at this shirt. It feels soft, light, comfortable. Nothing about it suggests where it really came from. What if I told you it didn't begin in a cotton field or inside a factory? It began as one of the toughest plants on Earth, bamboo. At first, that sounds impossible. How can something strong enough to build houses become fabric soft enough to wear? The answer is hidden deep inside every bamboo stalk, but you can't see it. Not yet. Before any machine starts moving, the journey begins here, far away from cities, far away from factories, in forests that seem almost untouched. Millions of bamboo stalks grow here. But here's the surprising part. Most of them will never become clothing. Only a small number meet the factory's standards. The rest are left behind to keep the forest growing. So, what makes one bamboo stalk valuable, while another is rejected? It isn't height, it isn't color, and it isn't age alone. The answer lies inside the fibers. Once the right bamboo has been found, everything changes. Powerful machines move in. Within seconds, years of growth come to an end. But cutting the bamboo is actually the easiest part. What comes next is far more complicated. The long stalks are cleaned, sorted, stacked, and loaded onto enormous trucks. Thousands of kilograms leave the forest every single day. Yet none of it looks anything like fabric. Not even close. Hours later, the trucks arrive at a place where nature meets engineering. This is where bamboo begins to lose its identity. Forever. The first machines don't make fabric. They don't make thread. They don't even make fibers. Their only job is to destroy the bamboo. Completely. Long green stalks disappear into giant crushing machines. Seconds later, they emerge as tiny fragments. There's no turning back now. The bamboo will never look the same again. But why destroy something so strong? If the goal is to make clothing, because the factory isn't interested in the bamboo itself. It's searching for something hidden inside, something incredibly valuable, something invisible to the human eye, and finding it is much harder than you might think. The next stage will reveal what the factory has been looking for all along. The bamboo is gone. At least, that's what it looks like. But the most valuable part is still here, hidden inside millions of tiny fragments. This is what every machine has been working toward. Not the bark, not the outer shell. Only one natural material matters: cellulose. Almost every plant contains it, but separating it without ruining it is the real challenge. Inside these giant steel tanks, nothing dramatic seems to happen. No sparks, no explosions, just heat, pressure, time. Yet inside, the bamboo is changing faster than you can imagine. Layer by layer, its structure begins to disappear until only the cellulose remains. This creamy white material doesn't look impressive. It doesn't look expensive. And it certainly doesn't look like something you would wear. But don't let appearances fool you. Without this, there would be no bamboo fabric. Even now, the factory isn't finished. The cellulose is still too thick, too rough, too unstable. It has to become something completely different. Watch closely, because this is where science begins to look like magic. The purified cellulose is pushed through thousands of microscopic openings, each one smaller than a human hair. It's almost impossible to believe. But from those tiny holes, endless white strands begin to appear. These aren't threads. Not yet. They're newborn fibers, soft, delicate, and incredibly fine. At first, they're too weak to use, so the factory stretches them, washes them, dries them, again and again. Every step makes them stronger, smoother, more uniform. Slowly, thousands of separate fibers become continuous yarn. For the first time, the material finally starts to resemble something familiar. But there's one problem. Yarn can't become clothing on its own. It still has to be transformed into fabric, and that requires some of the fastest machines in the entire factory. Within seconds, thousands of threads begin crossing each other with astonishing precision. Too fast for the human eye to follow. Yet every movement has to be perfect, because one tiny mistake could ruin hundreds of meters of fabric. What emerges on the other side is no longer bamboo. It's no longer fiber. It's the first glimpse of the fabric that will eventually become someone's favorite shirt. For the first time, it finally looks like fabric, but it's still unfinished. Right now, it has no color, no identity. The next machines will change everything. Not just how it looks, but how it feels, how strong it becomes. Every wash removes what doesn't belong. Every step prepares it for the next. Then comes the hardest part. Color, heat, pressure, timing. Everything has to be perfect. One mistake could ruin the entire roll. When the fabric finally emerges, it feels alive, but it's not ready yet. High-speed cameras inspect every thread. Sensors search for flaws invisible to the human eye. Only the best fabric moves on. Now comes the transformation everyone recognizes. The giant rolls are unrolled. Patterns are placed. Precision cutters begin their work. Within minutes, the fabric becomes sleeves, collars, fronts, backs, still just pieces, until skilled hands bring them together, one stitch at a time. A shirt begins to appear. The final inspections are unforgiving. Every seam, every measurement, every detail. Only then is it folded, packed, and shipped around the world. One day, someone wears it without a second thought, never realizing it began as bamboo in a quiet forest.
Agreed.
A journey shaped by nature, perfected by precision, and transformed into something completely new.
Reroute Quadrant Gamma immediately. We have a weather front approaching.
Acknowledged. Adjusting drone paths now.
The texture on this bamboo knit is incredible.
Yeah. Absolutely stunning. Make sure it's placed on the main rack.
It feels like silk, but even smoother. Absolutely exquisite.
The connection to the earth is everything. There is nothing quite like this feeling.